Hello everyone, welcome to Drishti IAS. We have brought to you a series which is called the Current Affairs Plus series, wherein we'll be discussing those topics that have been in the news recently, but also the very same topics have been asked by UPSC in previous years' questions. So without further ado, let's begin with today's topic, which is the Ganges River Dolphin. Now this dolphin is the national aquatic animal of India, hence it is very important by and of itself. But let's also look at why this topic has been in the news recently. Now the Ganges River Dolphins have been in the news recently because the MOEFCC, or the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, has undertaken a pan-India counting exercise for riverine and estuarine dolphins. So this exercise is pan-India and it is second such survey. The first such survey or the counting exercise for riverine dolphins was conducted from 2021 to 23, and both these exercises have been done under Project Dolphin. Now the whole idea behind this exercise is to contribute to the conservation and policy making for dolphins. So the whole idea is to gather enough scientific data to make a robust policy and planning for conservation of dolphins. Now in the preceding survey, the Ganges River Dolphin and the Indus River Dolphins were counted, but this time they have also included the Irrawaddy dolphins. And this survey has begun from Bijnor, Uttar Pradesh. Now this survey is going to be conducted in two phases. The first phase includes the Ganga River, starting from UP till Ganga Sagar, along with the Indus River. And the second phase is going to include the tributaries of the Ganga, along with those dolphins that are found in the Sundarbans and Odisha. Now, this we have already discussed. This survey is also going to count Indus River Dolphin as well as the Irrawaddy Dolphin. Now, who is undertaking this exercise, this survey? It is basically being done with the help of Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, in collaboration with or in coordination with the various state departments, along with other organizations like the Wildlife Trust of India, Aranyak, and WWF India, right? These are the organizations that have helped in undertaking this project. Now, a couple of times the UPSC has focused on the Ganges River Dolphins, and I have brought for you two questions from previous years where UPSC has asked questions related to these dolphins, and that is why this topic becomes significantly more important for us. Now let's look at the question. This one comes from 2014. The question says, other than poaching, what are the possible reasons for the decline in the population of Ganges River dolphins? So this question assumes that poaching is definitely one threat to the population of the Gangetic dolphins. But other than that, four statements are given, and let's consider them one by one to arrive at the correct answer. First statement says construction of dams and barrages on rivers. Now students, whenever dams or barrages are constructed in the river, it actually changes the flow of the river, the depth of the river, as well as the sediment load of the river. All right, and it kind of fragments the river. This leads to fragmenting of the river. And the riverine dolphin species that we are discussing is actually, it requires a very steady flow to thrive. and therefore this fragmentation and this change in depth and sediment load does pose a threat to its survival, and therefore this actually is a correct statement. The second statement says increase in the population of crocodiles in river. Now this might appear to be a case wherein crocodiles, they appear scary and big and they appear to be posing a threat to the survival of other species. However, crocodiles and riverine dolphins have been known, especially the Gangetic dolphins, have been known to be cohabitant for centuries, and there is no evidence, there is a lack of evidence to suggest that the increase in the population of crocodiles has led to the reduction in the population of Ganges dolphin, and therefore this we can eliminate. Now, since we have already been able to eliminate one option, if we look at these four options and we eliminate any option that has the second statement, we will easily arrive at the correct answer almost automatically just by eliminating one statement. Alright, so we have our correct answer already. However, let's still look at statement third and fourth. Statement third says getting trapped in fishing nets accidentally. This is again a serious challenge to the population of these dolphins, and this happens because more often than not they happen to be the bycatch, which means they are not the intended targets. Nonetheless, they end up being the bycatch. They end up being caught in the or trapped in the fishing nets. Statement 4 says use of synthetic fertilizers and other agricultural chemicals in crop fields in the vicinity of rivers. This again is a very known threat, very well known threat to the Ganges River dolphins, because they cause a lot of hormonal imbalances, various diseases, various problems in the dolphins, thereby causing a challenge to their population. So with this, we have arrived at the correct answer. The next question was asked in 2015, and the question says which one of the following is the national aquatic animal of India? And at the very outset, I had told you that the Gangetic dolphin or the Ganges River dolphin is the national aquatic animal of India, and this is a very straightforward question with a very straightforward answer. Incidentally, Gangetic dolphin is also the state aquatic animal of Assam. So, two very straightforward questions, and this also shows why we are focusing on this particular piece of news so much, because UPSC has shown keen interest on them for 2 consecutive years. Now let's also look at the key facts about the Ganges River dolphins. They are known as the tiger of the Ganges and was officially discovered in 1801. Again, as discussed, it is India's national aquatic animal and the state aquatic animal of Assam. Again, these dolphins are an indicator of healthy river ecosystem, meaning that if you see dolphins thriving in a particular riverine ecosystem, you should infer that that ecosystem is healthy. All right, decent amount of biodiversity and good healthy ecosystem. Now again, talking about the habitat. So historically these dolphins have been found in the GBM basin, the Ganga, Brahma, Putra, Meghna basin. All right, along with the Karnafuli, Sangu river systems in India, Nepal and Bangladesh. However, their population in these habitats wherein they were found historically has been declining. It is on the decline. Now, what are some of the features? So, about the Ganges River dolphins, they are mainly exclusively a freshwater species. All right, they are freshwater species, meaning they are primarily found in fresh waters, in river waters and maybe slightly murky waters. Now also please understand that there are different kinds of dolphins. Of course, there are riverine dolphins. There are also estuarine dolphins that we have also seen. Estuarine dolphins means where the river meets the mouth of the sea or the ocean and the water here becomes brackish, meaning fresh water and salt water get mixed. And then there is also ocean dolphins. And all of these have different physiologies, all right? Different methods of communicating as well as different prey base. And that is fairly understood because their habitats are different and the ecosystems wherein they thrive are also different. And since they are blind, these Ganges River dolphins are blind, therefore they use echolocation, the technique of echolocation, to locate their prey. Now another important thing is that these dolphins are solitary creatures, meaning you will not find them in groups. They are not gregarious beings. They are usually either found solitary or they are found in pairs of mother and calf together. All right. Again, they emit a particular sound while exhaling, which is the su-su sound, and they are also therefore called the su-su dolphins. Now, in the estimate that was undertaken, the survey that was undertaken under Project Dolphin in 2021-23 that we just mentioned about, it was discovered that India has 6,327 riverine dolphins, out of which only 3 were Indus River dolphins and the rest were Ganges River dolphins. All right. And let's also look at the distribution. So, of course, this we discussed. State-wise, if we look at this, then we find that Uttar Pradesh and Bihar take the lead in the maximum number of Ganges River dolphins. All right, and here again, Ganga mainstream and Ganga tributaries take the lead in counting the maximum number of dolphins, followed by the Brahmaputra mainstream and its tributaries. This also highlights, students, this entire data also highlights the critical importance of the Gangetic Basin in dolphin conservation. All right, we see how incredibly important this basin becomes when we talk about conserving our riverine dolphins. Incidentally, Bihar also houses India's only dolphin sanctuary. Please tell me in the comments what is the name of that sanctuary. Now let's also look at the protection status of the Ganges dolphin. Now it is endangered in the IUCN list. Again, according to the Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, it falls in the Schedule 1. Similarly, it falls in the Appendix 1 of CITES as well as CMS, which is the Convention on Migratory Species. So this shows that this species is of utmost ecological importance. Finally, let's also discuss the threats that these species face. Now, in the question that we were discussing about the threats, we had already seen that the word poaching was mentioned. So, poaching is definitely a threat to them. But other than that, there are certain endocrine disrupting chemicals or EDCs in fish consumed by Gangetic dolphins. And there are certain other pollutants that we also discussed in that question that also disrupt their endocrine system. What are those pollutants? They are mainly industrial chemicals like DEHP and DNBP. These are found in adhesives. These are found in PVC plastics or in nail paints. All right, very commonly found. So they cause a disruption in their hormone system. Again, there are certain banned pesticides which mix up with water and pose a threat to these species. And there are, of course, heavy metals like arsenic, mercury, cadmium, which are harmful for the Gangetic dolphins. And what is the source of all these pollutants? They are mainly occurring from agricultural runoff or untreated industrial effluents, vehicular emissions, as well as poor waste management. So, the regular threats that we study for most of the other species as well as water pollution in general. Finally, there are also additional threats, which includes fishing gear entanglement. We just talked about the concept of bycatch as well. Poaching, of course, habitat loss from dams and water extraction. We discussed the reasons for that, as well as vessel noise. So noise pollution is also harmful for these species. So with this, we arrive at the end of today's episode, and for you, I have brought a practice question. Please take a look at the question. So if you like today's video and you want more such content, kindly press the like button, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. Please send me your answers in the comment section. Thanks for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.